Hey all, I've gotten a few questions about the bike I wanted to go ahead and answer in this video. One is about the pipe and the other is about power, so we'll go over that. When I did my upgrades, sorry about the traffic going by, hang on a second. When I was looking at doing the little modifications that I've done to this bike, I wasn't looking for speed. I was looking for a little power, not speed, mainly torque really. So I've done the pipe, the 14 tooth front sprocket, and the tires are slightly smaller in diameter than stock, so as a side effect my gearing is actually a little lower than with the stock tires. Final drive is just a little slightly smaller. Those three things added up, and I'm pretty happy with what I've gotten. And reports and videos that on YouTube kind of vary wildly about what kind of performance people are getting out of their bikes, anywhere from top speed of 50 miles an hour to over 70. And I'm kind of in between there. I'm running about 60 miles an hour in the flat, and that's what it did stock. And I really saw no increase really in top speed after doing my modifications. And like I said, with the modifications that I've done, I wasn't looking for top speed. I was looking for more hill holding speed. Can it maintain that top speed instead of doing 60 miles an hour in the flat and dropping to 45 once I hit a hill? You know, can I keep it above 50? That's what I was going for. You know, so can I do 55 miles an hour and if I hit a hill, drop down to 50? Now that's what I was looking for, not just flat out top speed. So we're gonna go test that. The other question I got on the pipe was heat dissipation. How hot does this thing get in relation to the stock pipe? The stock pipe was actually very, very good. That heat shield that came on that thing did a fantastic job. It looked the business and it just worked great. No matter how long I'd been riding the bike or how hot the engine had gotten, I could touch it and it would be cool. We're gonna touch this one when I come back, but I haven't noticed any heat problems. Even if I run to the store in a pair of shorts or something across town, I'm not noticing heat, but I'm not touching the heat shields with my bare skin, even when sitting down. I do touch it because when I stand up and ride off-road, my leg is against this heat shield the whole time, and hasn't burned anything, and I haven't noticed the heat through my clothing, if that helps at all. When we get back from doing the top speed run, we will touch this thing and see how hot it gets. It has to be hotter than that stock, but it hasn't caused any problems. So let's strap on the GoPro and we will head out of town, and we're going to run to the next town over. It's about 5 miles away and it's hilly, and that's what I want to see. There's one kind of flat spot, so you'll see me hit about 60 there, but what I want to see is the up and down the hills. And so we'll just run over there, do a U-turn, come back, and we'll wrap this up. So with these performance upgrades, the actual gains that you get are so minimal, it's really hard to quantify. Because we're starting with 9 horsepower and 8 foot-pounds of torque. And like Yoshimura states, 7% horsepower increase and a 3% torque increase. So you're looking at maybe a half a horsepower and not even a half a foot-pound of torque difference. So the gains to expect from this sort of stuff are really small. So don't be expecting big results if you put these things on here. Probably the biggest performance upgrade I could make to this bike would be me losing 20 pounds. So a diet would actually make a bigger performance difference than even the pipe itself. But it sounds awesome. I can't deny that. So we are heading out of town, and we'll see what kind of power this thing can put down. Now, hopefully this audio comes out really good. I didn't realize that you could hear me at all on this camera until recently, and so I was planning on buying a different setup to record audio, but if this works out okay, I'll keep doing it this way. You guys will have to let me know what you think of it. I'm sure it'll get a lot louder once we get up to speed. lot of hills around here, and that's what we're going to be looking at, because I want the power to be not necessarily relating to top speed, but how well it holds its speed when I reach one of those hills. So we're going to go up a hill here, and when we get to a stoplight, that's the end of town. Change lanes here. Once we get past that stoplight, I can go ahead and go, because then the speed limit turns to 55. And we'll just pin it and we'll head to the next town, which is about 5 miles away. And we'll see how it does up and down the hills. A lot of traffic out today. And riding these little bikes, momentum is really the key, keeping your speed up. You just don't want things to break your momentum when you have a hill coming. You want to be able to hit it at full clip. Beautiful day out today, though. It's kind of rainy this morning, but it's turned out all right. The sign says 6 miles, so I guess it's 6 miles to the next town, not 5. Alright, so now we're going to have a 45-mile-an-hour zone up this hill. We'll see if we can keep the 45 miles an hour on. I might have to drop to 3rd, because 4th is like a really high overdrive. 3rd will run up to 60 miles an hour, but 4th really doesn't add anything. It just lowers the RPMs. Doesn't really seem to add any speed to it. So that was 4th gear up that. That was a pretty steep hill, so yeah, it'll hold 45, no problem. I just wanted to stay above 50 on these roads, because if it's a 55 mile an hour speed limit, I don't want to be doing 45. You know, I don't want to have to drop down that low. So we're going downhill now. We're in a 55 zone now, so let's crank her up to 55. I could go faster here, but I'm not going to. I'm going to wait till I get to the bottom, right about where that turnaround is. That turnaround right there is at the bottom, and so when I get there, I'll go ahead and pin it. So I'm holding off. I don't want the hill to influence us at all. All right, so here's the bottom of the hill. Let's pin it. Let's go. Cars go ahead and get ahead of us, so I didn't want to be sniffing their draft. I had to stop and get gas too. I did realize when you're down to 1 bar of fuel left on the gas gauge, when it starts flashing, that's your reserve, and that's a half a gallon. So all the bars solid is 1 gallon. When the last bar starts flashing, you're down to a half a gallon of gas. So I've got 70 miles to go from there. Alright, so we're going uphill again here. This is a long hill. Let's see what the speed drops down to. At 54, I got 1 car behind me. Let's see if he has the badge or not. 53, 54. So it's doing alright. And this is what I wanted. Because before I put the pipe and changed the gearing, that would have dropped down into the 40s. And now it's just unacceptable. It's not what I wanted. So this is, I'm really pleased with this. This is good. So this is going to flatten out. Once we get up to the highway, there'll be a little dip. Then we're going to be uphill again to the next town. And from there, we'll just do a U-turn and do the return trip. And I've got my leg against the pipe right now on purpose. And I can feel some warmth, but it's not hot. But normally, when I'm riding, my leg isn't touching the pipe. camera down so you can see it. So in the seated position, you're not really on the pipe. We've got a little downhill right here. I'm going to go ahead and pin it. Back uphill again. And our turnaround will be at the top of this hill. Yeah, I'll be really pleased if the audio is acceptable on this video. So I don't really want to buy another camera and microphone setup right now. I want to wait a little bit. And that's why I don't have a drone. I'm waiting until like the next generation of following technology comes out. Until it gets just a little bit better. It's almost there, but I'm just waiting for the next step. So we're still doing 55, 56. We're coming to the crest of the hill now. Heading downhill, and I'm going to go ahead and back it off. We're coming up to a 35-mile-an-hour zone, so I'll just back it off here. We'll go ahead and do a U-turn and get around and go back home. See some mountains off in the distance there. So let's flip this thing around. It is a really nice day out. I wish I had somewhere to go. You can see the mountains over there. That's where I go. Find all the dirt roads and gravel roads is back over there. That's the George Washington National Forest over there. I've got one road I want to do that goes down the ridge line, kind of paralleling the Blue Ridge Parkway, but it's off-road, or it's a fire road, but it's closed. I went up there and checked it out, and it's going to open in August, so hopefully they open the entire thing and I can do a kind of mini adventure ride down there. So that's what I want to find. Roads that I can link together and make longer runs. Oh, look at that Mercedes. That is nice. Nice old car. So if you stay on this road straight, it'll take you all the way up to the Blue Ridge Parkway. I usually go up a different road. There's a gravel road on the other end of town. I'll take it up. Instead, just to avoid cars. I don't want to, like I said, I want to spend as little time on pavement as I can, and more time on the gravel. All right, let's kill this for real this time, and I'll see you guys back on the porch, and we'll go over what we just saw. All right, so we've made it back, and I left the bike running while I went and got this camera to set up, and so let's touch the pipe and see what we think here. That's hot. It's not burning me, but if I left my hand there, it would. That's warm. This heat shield right here is cool to the touch, and this is the one that my leg is always against when I'm standing, and this is the one that would be in the way when you're sitting on the bike. So this isn't hot right here. So this part and this part here would touch your pant legs. This part's warmer. This part's just cool to the touch. Or just room temperature, ambient temperature. This one's a little warmer, but when you start getting past this bracket here, it starts getting really hot. So in the area where you would sit, not a worry. If you had a passenger, then that would be a problem. But the way it's set up for the rider, not a problem. So for speed, like I said, I'm not really worried about it. It'll do 60 in the flat, no problem. Hills, it dropped down to what, 55, 50 in that range. So that's win. So I've increased, you know, the power to hold its speed going up hills better. So I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't looking to increase my top speed, but I was looking for that because I didn't want to become a hazard on the road, dropping down into the 40s and having cars, you know, swerving to get by me, and just the threat of getting rear-ended or run over. So since it'll keep up with traffic on those roads, that's fine. That's exactly what I want to do. Because I don't want to run it that fast all the time. I didn't buy this thing to blow it up. Like I said, I plan to do mostly dirt roads and things, you know, running in the 30 to 40 miles an hour range. So I'm pleased. No more engine modifications. I am going to stiffen the clutch springs up a little bit though, because I need to put the power to the ground when I ask for it in the off-road situations and things like that. So I will strengthen that up just a little bit. And other than that, we'll see you next time, and I'm sure I'll have some other kind of farkle hanging off this thing. If my fly screen ever shows up from Thailand, come on Thailand, Poach, send me my fly screen. I need it. Catch you guys later.